What's happening, everybody? Justin, Bridgewater's Finest on YouTube, Blockbuster_guy on Twitter, and welcome to today's Finest for February 21st, 2018, fueled, as always, by Nerd Teas. Today's blend of the Nerd Teas is Strawberry Power Up. I believe I've had it at least once on this show, maybe twice. It is flavorful, it is aromatic, it's damn near perfect. Definitely in my top 5 of Nerd Teas blends. Maybe that would be an interesting video to do, top 5 Nerd Teas blends. I might have to do that on one of these upcoming episodes. So, I haven't been around for a little bit. I apologize for that. I was really sinking myself into my NHL trade deadline coverage, which is getting a little bit of traction, not quite as much as I'd want, but hey, the deadline's still like 5 days away, so there's still plenty of time. So I really had to sink myself into that, so had to kind of put this on the back burner, but we're back now, baby, and what unceremonious return that it's going to be to today's Finest. But before we get to that, let's get that sub count. Went back in the right direction for the first time since the previous episode, because again, it's been, 11 or 12 days, I think, since I've done a Today's Finest. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you don't forget to follow the show on Snapchat. It is BWF_902. That is my official Snapchat account for the Bridgewater's Finest channel. Get to see all kinds of behind the scenes stuff, all kinds of fun stuff. Make sure you follow me on Snapchat. That is in the description below. This is going to be a quick return to today's Finest, and as I mentioned a little bit off the top, a rather unceremonious one. As you can see in the title to this video, R.I.P. YouTube Partnership 2012 to 2018. Well, I was actually a YouTube partner for 6 years. I don't think I realized that. Yeah, got home from work yesterday and partnership was gone. Can't monetize videos anymore. And, like I said, I knew it was coming, obviously. They gave you like a month's notice, and that was the whole reason that this show came into being, as kind of a push to try to get the watch hours up, get the subscribers up. And I'm not going to sit here defeatist, because I see how far the channel has actually come just in that 1 month. In terms of subscribers, I mean, we're up 63 subscribers since that announcement was made. Like, I basically started at 800 with the first episode of Today's Finest. To be at 863 now is actually a pretty big accomplishment. Like, that's 31.5% of what I needed to gain in order to get over the 1,000 sub threshold to try to keep the partnership. So that's actually a really good chunk. I gave it a good push, and I've been enjoying doing this show, and I will continue to do this show. It was painful yesterday coming home to see that the inevitable had happened, and the partnership is gone. And YouTube is obviously the easy target here. YouTube and its advertisers and everything like that. Like, there's a bunch of easy targets in this conversation to direct my anger at. And I feel the need to point out, and I feel the need to make it very specific. I don't blame YouTube for deciding that they needed to better vet their creators, especially their new ones. I don't deride YouTube for that. That idea in and of itself makes sense, because you had the Logan Paul situation, and in combination with a bunch of other stuff, including sometimes toxic communities. So I realized that advertisers got squeamish and said, like, look, you need to get your creators under control here, or we're going to start pulling dollars. And there's more dollars on the board than most of us can conceive of. You know what I mean? Like, YouTube is such a huge advertising platform, and there's a ton of dollars there. And if those dollars start disappearing, well, that is going to affect everybody. So I understand that YouTube felt they had to do something to better vet their creators, and to protect the community, and to combat the people that were cheating their old system, because there were a ton of them, and it's a big problem on YouTube. And I realized that YouTube had to make a decision somewhere along the line that would combat that, would assuage the fears of their advertisers, would do all kinds of things. And this was the decision that they made. What I hate, and what I've been livid about since day one, since they made this announcement, was the fact that the change that they decided to enact then takes a creator like me. I've made money and I've grown my channel and I've met people that I probably otherwise would not have met or had access to speaking to or whatever if I wasn't a partner. And it takes people like me and it lumps me in with those people that just steal a Vine compilation to cheat the partnership system. I hate that it's taken, and there's a ton of creators like me. I talked to a bunch of them on Twitter last night that are in the exact same boat as me, lost their partnership through no fault of their own. Nothing that they did cost them their partnership. And that's why it's so bitter to so many people, because they didn't do anything wrong. They got caught up with the people that did do something wrong. And that's why it's so frustrating. And that's why I've been so angry about this. And luckily, I was somebody that was able to turn my anger into motivation, and it created this. But we didn't quite get far enough, did we? 60 subscribers in a month for a channel that only had 800 to begin with. I'm actually pretty proud of that because, it took me, 6 years to get to the 800 subscribers. So then to get another 60 in a month was pretty awesome. I have to thank my friends for that. My personal friends, my internet friends, and that's all I can give you, really. I can only give you my thanks. If you're a fellow small YouTuber, I can give you my subscription back. That I can certainly do, but thanks is all I have to give at this point, and I'm very grateful that I got this big chunk in heading towards getting back to the level that I need to get to. And again, I should really stress, for me, YouTube has never been about making money. It was awesome when I was offered the opportunity to make some money on YouTube. That's great. That's incredible. But doing YouTube for me was never about making money. It's not about making money. It's about feeling like I was worthy of the partnership. That my platform told me, you are worthy of this partnership. That my platform said, I appreciate you as someone who creates content for my platform, and I appreciate you in this way, and you have earned this. And it's feeling like I'm appreciated by my platform. I no longer feel that I'm appreciated by my platform. And that's a real problem for me. And that's going to be a difficult mental hurdle for people to get over. I would highly encourage you, if you're a small YouTuber, if you've been affected by this, I would highly encourage you not to stop making content. Because if you're a small YouTuber, you're not doing it for the money right now. You're trying to build something. And that's the boat that I'm in. I'm trying to build something, continuing to try to build something. And if that's who you are and you're trying to build something, please don't give that up. Like I'm asking you as a personal favor to me, please don't give that up, because you're only hurting yourself. You're only cutting off your nose to spite your face. So I would encourage you to please continue what you're doing. You rock. If you're doing it the right way and you're not going against community guidelines and going against copyright and everything like that, if you're doing it the right way, you're awesome. You're great. Please don't stop doing this. Please don't let YouTube and short-sighted decision-making win. Don't let that beat you. I'm sure as hell not going to let it beat me. Well, folks, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the return of... Wait. Don't I owe you something? I do, folks. I've been promising you a little walk around my hometown for weeks. Easily weeks I've been promising this. I finally got a good day to record it. I recorded that. I put it together last night. And that's what you're going to see at the tail end of this video. But before we let you go, here's your hook for next time. And that ties into when next time is going to be, because the next episode's kind of going to depend on the mail. So your hook for next time is I'm going to be doing a box break, what's called a box break in the collectors community, I guess. A box break of 2017-2018 Upper Deck NHL Series 2. I've purchased what's called a hobby box, so it's about $100, and just it gives you better odds of hitting rare cards, good cards, valuable cards, and a ton of cards towards the full base set of Series 2. And I'm actually really excited about that. I love hockey cards. I have that collector's itch, you know what I mean? So retail therapy, whatever you want to call it. I love getting hockey cards. I love collecting hockey cards. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to break a nice fresh box of hobby for Upper Deck NHL Series 2 for this year. It feels good to be back. I went like 2 weeks there without really making much content at all, aside from making the trade deadline content, and it just felt weird. Like I went a long period of time there not doing any content at all, and it just felt strange. So it's nice to get back in front of the camera, and it's nice to get another upload up there, get back to doing what I love to do, which I would do for free and now have to do for free again, which is making content for my lovely community. So folks, that's it for me for today's finest. For February 21st, 2018, Justin, Bridgewater's Finest on YouTube, Blockbuster_guy on Twitter, no longer a partner, but we'll get back there. Enjoy the walk, which is coming up for you now, and we will see you again whenever that box of hockey cards shows up. Before I go, this walk gets a little loud because, as does tend to happen in Nova Scotia in winter, was a shade on the windy side. I've tried to kind of knock the levels down a little bit to try to compensate for it a little bit, but it's going to get a little loud. My apologies, but enjoy the show. So this is it. This is the street that I've lived on for basically my entire life, except for a couple of years when I can't remember anyway. This walk, I have taken this walk literally thousands of times. Quick left turn here takes you down the first sub-street from the street that I live on, and this is significant for a few reasons. This is, first of all, the site of many street hockey successes and many, many, many more failures. Right on this strip right here, we would always play curb to curb. So, I mean, we were very small children, obviously, when we were doing this, but we also come up to a couple of houses here on my right. And one of them, you may remember, the No Holds Barred podcast, a briefly but wildly successful podcast with myself and my friend Nick. And that is where Nick lived, right there. So obviously very, very close and, quite reliable for podcasting purposes. Quick look up there, too. You can just barely see through the tree line there. That's our local hospital. And I actually live just basically right beside it. So I'm completely desensitized to ambulances and sirens at this point. Take another turn around another corner here, and we're to another street with more street hockey memories. Yes, I know I'm Canadian, and I'm really fulfilling the stereotype right now, but look, street hockey was a huge part of growing up. We didn't have football, we barely had baseball, and this was the rink, quote unquote, right here. Once again, curb to curb. So, I mean, you think about it, we were probably 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. I'm literally going to walk 1, 2, 3. It's like 10 steps from curb to curb now. So imagine trying to play on this now as adults. For anyone who may be wondering what position I played in street hockey, I was definitely fitting the stereotype of put the heavy kid in net. I was usually a goaltender and not a particularly good one. Now we're cutting down a path here, which comes down between some houses and, a bank, little strip mall development here. And when we get to the bottom of this path, we will see the raging, busy streets of Bridgewater, Nova Scotia on a Tuesday afternoon. Wild stuff. I've lost count of the number of times I've almost been hit crossing this intersection. Gonna take a quick little pit stop here and stop into the Bridgewater Mall. This has been my place of employment for the last 6 years and a little bit, and it's gonna look quaint to a lot of people, but I could do a lot worse than working in a bookstore in my hometown. Spend way too much fucking money in there. We're refueled and we're off to our final stop, Bijanuiska Park. I think probably my favorite part of living here is the fact that it's the most simply and aptly named town that you could possibly ever imagine. So there's a bridge, over there's another bridge, and there's water, hence Bridgewater. Come around the turn, and here we are. This, folks, is Bijanuiska Park, right on King Street in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. Not very much, right? Well, I take heavily into consideration that this area used to basically just be what that area is right over there, which is just a parkade, just a little rundown parkade that barely ever got used. And now instead you've got a nice little seating area, walking path. In the summer, this is actually really nice and all vegetated, and it looks really nice in the summer. You come down here, you're right on the waterfront of the LaHave River. Not exactly the most beautiful river in the world, not by a long shot, but again, it's considering that this used to be absolutely nothing. I actually really like this place. You can bring your boats if you got them right up to the dock, right up to the park. Just getting a bit of a opposite side view here that'll go up to your top level up there where there's some other seating. And again, in the summer, this is really nice. A nice shot down river there, not too far away from what we call Shipyard's Landing, which is a nice little park just a little ways down the river there. That's it. That's a small sample size of my hometown, the place that I've lived basically my entire life, the place I'm probably gonna live for the foreseeable future. And yeah, you know, it's a tiny little town. There's probably not a lot special to it, but pretty special to me.